All right, you're listening to the Rising Revolution show. This is one of our mini shows. It's just me without Floyd. My name is Kirby Harris. Basically, I wanted to talk about how the Republicans got destroyed on Tuesday in Virginia. Let's see, the title from Richmond.com, which is the Richmond Times-Dispatch: Democrats erase 32-seat GOP advantage in House, recounts likely to determine control. Virginia Democrats are poised to claim at least a share of control of the House of Delegates after erasing a 32-seat Republican advantage in a tsunami election, with control of the chambers likely to be ultimately decided by vote recounts, says the Richmond Times-Dispatch. It goes on to say Northern Virginia journalist Danica Roem, which I think is the big story a lot of people are going to be talking about, made history by becoming the first openly transgender candidate elected to the Virginia legislature. I'm thinking, I heard that it was also the national, in any state legislature. And as far as I know, nobody in the national House or Senate is openly transgender. So I would say the first transgender legislator, period, but I could be wrong on that. You could correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. While her party appeared to make a epochal gain in the having a little trouble here. Gain in power in a legislative chamber that has been under iron Republican grip. The Republicans have had it for quite a while, and they kept gaining and gaining. But see, what's amazing about what happened is basically a lot of these seats were strong Republican seats. A lot of times they win by 20, 30 percentage points, and in some cases, I can't remember. I think it's in the story. We'll read it in a minute. They lost or won by small margins between 250 all the way down to just 16 points. Democrats picked up 3 open seats, including one in Henrico County, and knocked off at least, this is the biggie, 13 Republican incumbents. And a lot of these incumbents were very strong, safe incumbents. Democrats picked up 3 open seats, including one in Henrico County, and they knocked off 13 Republicans. And most of these were very strong Republicans, and it makes them have 50-50 in the House. Pending some recounts, it could end up going control of the Democrats, or the Republicans may keep it. It's quite an experience to experience a tsunami election, and this is it, said House Minority Leader David J. Toscano, Democrat Charlottesville, who conceivably could become the next Speaker of the House instead of Majority Leader M. Kirkland Cox, or Kirk Cox, Republican from Colonial Heights. The tsunami resulted from the electoral earthquake a year ago that put Republican Donald Trump in the White House. Toscano said, "You can't get away from this being a very clear reaction to Trump." So the opinion of the Democrats and a lot of Republicans and a lot of libertarians is it was a Trump thing. Me personally, I believe that was the case for all the House seats being lost by GOP, not necessarily for the statewide candidates of governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. I think Donald Trump had something to do with it, but I also think that a lot of it had to do with the base segments of the base, Confederates, libertarian Republicans, ultra-conservatives, constitutionalists that did not vote. And I think the reason that the Ed Gillespie got more votes is because a lot of the establishment in 2013 actually abandoned the GOP, and I believe that's why Ken Cuccinelli lost. And I think a lot of them maybe voted for Sarvis because Sarvis got 6.5, the Libertarian, and this time the Libertarian only got 1 percentage point. So he lost a lot somewhere. The Libertarians did. So they went somewhere, and I believe the Democrats, the numbers are they tripled their amount of people. Upsets rocked House races from one end of Virginia's urban crescent to another, with Roem, that's the transgendered person who was born a male and is transitioning to a female, or they would call it a transgendered woman, Roem vanquishing prominent social conservative Delegate Robert G. Marshall of Prince William County, along with 7 Republican incumbents in Northern Virginia. So Marshall had been there for a long time, 25, 26, 27 years. I don't know how long, quite a long time. He was prominent. He did the Virginia bathroom bill. He was prominent on issues regarding transgendered and homosexual causes, voting against them or creating bills that worked against what the homosexual and transgender groups wanted. In the Richmond area, Democrat Deborah H. Rodman defeated 17-year incumbent Delegate John M. O'Bannon. So he was a 17-year incumbent. And I believe they're elected every 2 years, similar to the National House. So that's quite a few elections. He's been there a long time. He was a high-ranking member of the House Appropriations Committee, says the Times-Dispatch, which he is. By more than 900 votes, she defeated him. And that's kind of unusual. And Democrat Don M. Adams shocked Delegate Manoli Lupasi, Republican Richmond, by almost 500 votes. I'm shocked too, said O'Bannon after conceding the race. This is what happens when you get on the wrong end of a wave election. Schooner T. Van Vulken, a high school government and history teacher, defeated longtime Henrico Republican leader Eddie Whitlock to claim the seat opened by the retirement of Delegate Jimmy Massey, Republican Henrico. I think people are ready for change, said Rodman, an assistant professor of anthropology at Randolph-Macon College and one of the 10 women newly elected to the House, for a total of 27. They're sick of divisive politics and they're ready to unify. Delegate Roxanne L. Robinson, Republican of Chesterfield, held off a challenge by Democrat Larry V. Barnett by only 138 votes. 138 votes. I'm not sure if that's going to be a recount or not, but I'm just saying 138 votes, and that is a Republican stronghold seat in Chesterfield County. Delegate Riley E. Ingram, Republican Hopewell, survived a close race with Democrat Sheila Bynum Coleman. So let's see. It also says, while Democrats picked up 3 open seats, including Massey's Republican John G. McGuire III defeated Democrat Melissa Dart to keep GOP control of the Richmond area seat being vacated by retiring Delegate Peter A. Farrell, Republican of Henrico. In Hampton Roads, Democrats knocked off at least 2 Republican incumbents. Delegate Ronald A. Vinuala, I'm sorry about some of these names, a Republican of Virginia Beach, and Delegate N.D. Rocky Holcomb III, Republican of Virginia Beach, and Delegate David E. Yancey, Republican Newport News, won by 12 votes in a race that is automatically subject to recount. These are typically in Virginia Beach, that's a Republican stronghold because of all the years of Pat Buchanan and the 700 Club and all the Christians that are part of his organization and the school there. And it's just, you have huge Republican stronghold there, and they lost. And let's see, like I said, it says Yancey. Now, I'm not sure about this Newport News seat, if it's a strong Republican one, because Newport News tends to be pretty Democrat. But it says he only won by 12 votes. Even in Southwest Virginia, around the college town of Blacksburg, Democrats won a marquee race framed by tragedy. Democrat Chris Hurst, whose fiancee and fellow journalist Allison Parker were shot to death. A lot of you may remember that during an interview on live television 2 years ago, defeated Delegate Joseph R. Yost, Republican, and Giles. But nowhere was the Democratic wave more powerful than in Northern Virginia, which, of course, you can expect, especially Prince William County, which Toscano had called the battlefield for the House. Now, the thing about that is becoming more and more Democratic, but there are parts of Northern Virginia that were very, very strong Republican. I guess, you have D.C., so you have a lot of politicos that live up in that area, and a lot of them are Democrat, a lot of them are Republican. So the Republicans that live up in D.C. live in one area, the Democrats live in another area, but it's becoming more and more and more Democrat up there. Democrats defeated 5 Republican incumbents who represent parts of Prince William, including House Republican Caucus Chair Timothy D. Hugo, Republican of Fairfax, who lost by 68 votes to Democrat Dante Taylor in another race that will go to a recount. And House GOP Whip Jackson H. Miller, Republican Manassas, who was beaten decisively by Lee Carter despite tepid Democratic support for the challenger. So the Democrat didn't have much support, but he still beat him. Delegate Richard L. Anderson, Republican Prince William, and Delegate L. Scott Lingamfelter, Republican of Prince William, both members of the House Appropriations Committee, lost to Democrats Haya Alea and Elizabeth R. Guzman, respectively. But the biggest prize for the Democrats was defeating Marshall, who had championed politically divisive social legislation that even fellow Republicans sometimes couldn't stomach, including a bill that would have prevented transgender people such as Roem, who beat Marshall, from using public bathrooms according to their chosen gender. Bob Marshall is no longer the fringe Republican Party. House Democratic Caucus Chairwoman Charlene L. Heron, Democrat Alexandria, said at a news conference call on Tuesday morning, Bob Marshall is the Republican Party. I think that's kind of ridiculous. That's just like rhetoric. Republican Party, I'm not, I used to be part of it. I'm not part of it anymore. I'm not Libertarian Party either. I'm a total independent. I vote for the issue and the man or woman who represents that issue. Sometimes that means I don't have anyone to vote for. Sometimes I have to write people in. But the point is, that's ridiculous. The Republican Party is not Bob Marshall. Yes, there are elements of that, but it is not Bob Marshall. Anyway, Democrats also defeated 3 other incumbent Republicans, says the Times, in Northern Virginia. Delegate Thomas A. Tag Greason. Tag? Really? Okay, sorry. Republican from Loudoun, a fast-rising budget negotiator who lost to Democrat David Reed. Delegate James M. L. Munyon, Republican Fairfax, who lost to Democrat Carrie Delaney, and Delegate J. Randall Minshew, Republican Loudoun, defeated by Democrat Wendy Good-Titus. Now, like I'm telling you, a lot of these votes, like Roxanne Robinson in Chesterfield, which is a strong Republican seat who usually wins by 20%, only won by 250 votes. And then some of these other races were 115, 16. I said 16, but it was 18. One Republican only won by 18 points. Some lost by 150 to 250 points, and some won by only 150 to 250 points. So the Republicans got smashed in this, totally. The potentially studied reversal of power in the House could break a political logjam over expansion of Medicaid in Virginia under the Affordable Care Act if the federal law survives further attacks by Trump and Republicans in Congress, which it has, and I believe it will. And we will end up getting Medicaid expansion in Virginia, which I do not believe we should have, because we shouldn't be paying for other people's Medicaid, Medicare, stuff like that. What we should do, I'm telling you, if Hollywood and the uber rich left would create a private organization, and they would take all that money that they tell us we should pay, if they put all that into an organization, they could solve healthcare privately. The liberals, the moneyed liberals, they could. It'd be done instead of forcing people who doesn't want to. I don't personally mind paying to help others. I'd rather do it privately. I'd rather do it by my choice, not be forced by government to do it. Let's see. So anyway, the Times goes on to say it means that we will move forward with Medicaid expansion and have health care for everyone who needs it, declared Rodman, one of the newly elected Democrats, who made the issue a centerpiece of her campaign. The political shift also will make it much tougher for Republicans to pass legislation to expand school choice through voucher-like programs to shift public per pupil funds to private schools or to establish more charter schools. And then this is a quote in the Times Dispatch: "I will fight every day to protect our public school." I will fight every day to protect our public schools, expand access to affordable health care, and create an economy that works for everyone, Van Valkenburg said in his victory statement. The large Democratic bloc in the House also will have the advantage of working with a Democratic governor after Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam after his resounding gubernatorial victory over Republican Ed Gillespie. Trump blamed Gillespie's loss on failing to embrace me and what I stand for. Trump, funny, isn't he? Yeah, he wasn't me. So yeah, he didn't embrace me and what I stand for. So that's why he lost. Yeah, right, Trump. He lost because of you, I believe. And like I said, he also lost because some of the base disappeared on him because nobody wanted Gillespie. He's a lobbyist. He's milquetoast. He's moderate. He's for special interests. Nobody liked him. But Toscano credited the president for enabling Democrats to challenge 54 of the 66 Republican-held House seats and possibly flip control of the chamber. The day after the Trump election, it began raining candidates for us in Virginia, Toscano said Tuesday morning today. That is a Times Dispatch article by M. Martz. And I will put a link to the article below. Yeah, Michael Martz, Richmond Times Dispatch, a November 8th, 2017 article. Thank you for bearing with me and my fumbles and my stumbles. And hopefully as I do more of these videos, I will get better at this. And I just want to say, I hope all you have a great day and enjoy life. And this is the Rising Revolution show segment with Kirby Harris.